All right, guys. Oh, you know what? Hang on a second. I totally forgot. I would totally start this off like this, right? Oh my goodness. I had like a little last minute thing and I totally forgot to bring over my video so I can watch all of your comments as we go. So let me get there real quick. Hey, there we go. All right, and you just pop this into place. Sorry for all the shakiness. There we go. All right. Hey, something new today, right? I see that I've got a few of you out there. So if you are out there, please do pop into the chat and say hello and tell me where you're from. I'm hoping to get some of my regulars out here and hopefully find some new folks that are really excited about all sorts of fun paper crafting things. If you don't know me, my name is Nicole Watt, and I am a lover of paper and paper crafting and stamping and all that great stuff. You can find me out here on YouTube all the time and over on my blog. As you know, I do some work for Altenew. I am an Altenew certified educator, and I also am on their video design team. So I do lots of work for Altenew, and a lot of the releases you'll see will be from Altenew, but I do work for other companies as well, and I love sharing all of that with you. So don't forget to pop in and say hello. I see that there are a few of you out there. I'd love to interact with you as we go. So if you have questions along the way, don't hesitate to ask. Hey, Roberta, so good to see you. So don't hesitate to ask, and we'll dive right into taking a look at today's release and the project that I'm going to share with you. So I'm going to pop down to my hands. You're going to see me up in the corner. All right, so I switched sides. We'll see if I like this better. I think when you're on like a mobile device, sometimes the chat goes over on the left side, so it might run into my face, so I thought I would switch it up this time and see what we think. All right, so this is the new Altenew stamp set in their Build a Flower collection, and as you know, this comes out once a month. If you don't know, it is a monthly subscription. It is also something that you can buy one off, but the stamp set always comes with a coordinating die. And this is, as indicated, as a Build-A-Flower is always a builder stamp. So sometimes there's an outline, sometimes there's not, sometimes there's just a whole bunch of pieces that stamp on top of each other to create a beautiful finished flower. And if you're not familiar with the packaging from Altenew, on the back side, you're always going to have a layering guide that will show you how to layer the stamp set completely and get you the gorgeous image. And then, of course, the leaves and things like that. But on the inside, too, it's totally worth looking at, is some inspiration. So all sorts of inspiration projects. You can cut these out and put them in a card file if you want, but just some information on carrying and storing for your stamps, and then color selections that go along with these projects. Now, the cool thing about these projects is that they are actual size. So if you're ever having a problem lining up your stamps, this is a really great way to kind of get eyes on and see how your stamps align together. So that's a really great feature of the little insert, is that these images here are always full size, so you can use them to line up your stamps. All right, so good to see you guys. I'm glad we've got some people joining. Okay, so definitely using this stamp set today, obviously, and I'm going to just kind of keep it on top here so we can see it. And then let's take a look at the card today. So this is the project that I did for the release, and I got lots of great comments on it. So check that out. I wanted to do something like this where it looked like it was just a field of clover, which nobody wants in their yard. But if it was out in nature, wouldn't that be just so pretty to have a field of this kind of pinkish, purpley clover? It'd be really, really pretty. So I did a watercolor technique on here. It's basically faux watercoloring, and I'm going to show you guys how I did that today. All right. So this format is a little different than what I'm doing on Thursdays. So we're just doing a release. So I'm going to show you all the products that I got for the release and then go into a project, and that'll be it. So I'm hoping to keep these around 30 to 45 minutes, and that's good for a release day, don't you think? And if you guys have questions, of course, pop them out there. All of the products that you see today are listed down below in my description. They are affiliate links, which means that if you click on them and you finish up your shopping cart, and check out, I may receive a small commission at no additional cost to you. That's just how affiliate things work, and it helps support the craft education that I provide on this channel. And there's also a link up in the live chat that has a link to the supplies as well. So after today's live is done, it takes YouTube a little while to get the replay all up and running with the chat, but the chat will show up eventually. Okay, so the Build a Flower this month, you have an option. If you're not already on the subscription, you have an option to get it bundled with the Spring Bouquet inks. And I love these inks because you're not getting 4, but you're getting 3. They don't come in any other groups, but you're getting greens and pinks. So it's perfect if you are getting started with florals, especially because now you've got greens to do all of your stems and your leaves with, and you've got pinks to do some really pretty flowers with. So this is a really great starter kit, and you can get that with the bundle. I think I have that linked below. All right, so I've had these for a while. I really liked the colors, so I've had them forever. And I did re-ink them. I don't have the list, the re-inkers listed below, but today they're on sale. So stop over at Altenew and check out all of their inks. All of their inks, I believe, are 15% off today. So you totally want to check that out if you need re-inkers, if you need to finish a collection, if you need to pick up something new. Today is the day to do it. Okay, so I have all of these re-inked, but I didn't re-ink the magenta. I wanted to show you how to do that. These mini cubes can dry up pretty quick, and it's best to have your inks as pretty juicy. I mean, you don't want them so juicy that they're leaving little bubbles behind, but you want to make sure that they're nice, that there's enough ink on there that when you're stamping, you get a good image. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here. All right, and so here's my cube. And here's my ink. And with the cubes, I probably re-ink these a little bit more often than I would a regular pad. But you see how I just gently squeeze, and then I had the ink go all the way down the pad. And then I actually squeeze a little line of ink on the edge here. All right, and then that's it. And then I usually let it sit for a minute or two, and then it's ready to be used. So I did that with all the rest of them. And that is how you re-ink your ink pads. So these are totally worth it because you use them for other things other than re-inking your ink pads. Of course, it will help your ink pads to last forever and ever and ever. And yeah, they're just really a good investment. Okay, so that's out of the way. Now I'm ready to go. Okay, so I've got a piece of Altenew watercolor paper. And I do have some leftover pieces. These were leftover from when I did my sample card. So we're going to use these instead of having to die cut anything out today. But the background is really where it's at, right? So this whole really, really pretty background. I didn't do any masking with this. I just stamped. So you can see there's some places where the green goes right over the pink, and it turns out okay. All right, so I just need a couple of blocks. So I've got a longer block here, or a skinnier block for a little bit more control if I feel like I need it, and then a bigger block for probably for the stems. All right, so with the Clover, we've got 2 different sizes. So these 4 here are for the large flower, and 1, 2, 3, 4 are for the small flower. Okay, now I'm never going to use the full backgrounds on this technique. I could use this detail image, but more than likely I'm going to go into like the 3rd detail here. So maybe kind of bounce back and forth between these 2. So I'm going to take this big one here. All right, and pop it on my block. And I'm going to start with the baby pink. That's the lightest color in this set. And I'm going to ink it up And there we go. Okay, so if I were to stamp this right now, of course I would get the solid image, but I want to have more of a watercolor look. So I'm going to take my water spritzer, and this is the Tim Holtz Distress Sprayer. I love it because it will do a fine mist, or you can just kind of slowly release on the trigger and get big drops, but I'm going to do a fine mist, just like that. And then I'm going to stamp. Press down for just a second and then lift it up. So now you can see that it kind of helps the water to, and the ink to kind of mush and get a little bit watercolory. All right, so totally faux watercolor. Okay, so I still have ink on here. I'm gonna spray it again and then try another one and see, look what I got. Isn't that pretty? I didn't even add any ink to this. All right, so we're just gonna keep going like that. And you can use the larger one if you want something that looks a little bit more watery. This is pretty detailed. So let's just switch out our blocks here. And I'm gonna do the same color, the baby pink. And again, I'm gonna spray it and then stamp it. All right, so that gives me an even more watery look. Okay, so we'll just keep going. Let's see, there's still some good on there. Okay, and then I can change up my color. So this is the fuchsia. This is a pretty strong color. Let me grab, oh, you know what? Just gonna grab some scrap white because I might actually, I'll be able to die cut these later. All right, so I didn't want it that dark, but I did want that shade on there. So now it's just a little bit less. And there we go. So it's slightly different in color. And that's kind of what it would look like with the full strength. All right, so I think that's probably enough for the big ones. Let me grab a towel to wipe these up with. All right, and then we'll move on to some of these little ones. I hope you guys are doing good today. It's only Tuesday, crazy. Tomorrow we are getting a high-speed internet at the house, yay! So I'll be even faster on my live streams. I'm very excited about that. All right, so again, just with the smaller stamp, I'm going ahead and doing that same technique. So I'm actually going to do some of the fuchsia. All right, you can do this technique with just about any stamp that has kind of like a detail to it and get this watercolor look. So it's not just about the Clover. It can be any stamp set. All right, I think I just need to add maybe a couple down here and one up there. And then we'll start putting in some leaves. All right, so work in progress, looking pretty good. At this point, you might want to let it dry a little bit. So I'm just going to wipe this up. Here we go. Now with, so I'm going to let this dry and talk about these guys a little bit. So again, you would just go ahead and stamp these out on some watercolor paper. And then once they're dry, go ahead and die cut them with the coordinating dies. And that's what those look like. And that's what I use to pop up. All right, with the leaves, which you're going to see here in a minute. Again, I didn't use the background piece. I'm just using the detail pieces to get this kind of look. So it's very white with just the veining down the center. All right. So, and then the same thing with the stems. Those you're just going to go ahead and ink up, spritz, and stamp, and you'll get some really beautiful watercolory kind of stems. All right. Let's see. Done with those. And let's grab some leaves. So the leaves come in two styles. You've got the full leaf here with the 3 leaves on it, and then just the single. And we'll start with the more detail one. So this is like truly the center of the leaf if you were to layer these. And I'm going to start with the limeade. And if you're not sure how it's going to look before you put it down on your final piece, you can always just stamp it and see what that's going to look like. All right, so that's a pretty vibrant green, which means that I might want to just kind of tone it down. Definitely do lots of water on there so that way it spreads out a lot. Okay, so now I'm just thinking about where I might see some leaves poking out of the design. So kind of like up in here. And if I feel like I want it to be behind this piece here, I can just roll it down and not let this end touch as much, okay? Or I can actually wipe it off if I want, and that'll work too. It's kind of like a way to mask it, right? There we go. So now it didn't go into there. It just, because I wiped it off with my finger. Super easy. All right, and then, so that was the limeade. Let's check out the lime. The limeade is really super limey looking, though the lime is much more green. So let's add in a few more of these. And again, I'm just kind of avoiding the stem there. All right, so there's just like 3 little leaves in there right now. All right, before I put in any of the big ones, I'm going to pop in some of the stems. So let's do the stems in the limeade. So everything I'm just stamping, spritzing with water, and then, getting it inked up, I should say, and then spritzing it with water and then laying it down. Okay, so this one I'm going to kind of put here so that it's going in front. Now I don't mind that it's coming in front of this one, but I kind of want it to go behind here. So just wipe a little bit off there. There we go. See, and this one is dry, so it's okay that the green went over it. Now it just kind of looks like everything is a little bit translucent, which is really, really pretty. And I am going to do some of the lime, I think. All right, so I'll pop it like a leaf. One down there, and then I still got plenty on here. So let's do this one and come right across the front of all this. There. All right, so the last thing I need to do is add in some of the 3-leaf design. And we'll do lime. And remember, this one comes in front, so it's okay that it's going to kind of go over everything. And then I will do one coming off of here. All right, and there we go. So I know that probably, it seems to me like it's maybe a little bright, what you guys are seeing. But here live, it is, it's not as bright. It's a little toned down. So this just will dry. a little bit. And let's pop a sentiment on here. Oops, and I was using my black ink elsewhere, so let me go grab it. All right, so there's two great sentiments in this set. There's the life is beautiful with friends like you, and then the your kindness is radiant, and they both look really great on here. So I'll do the other sentiment and just pop it right there. There we go. So I'll just stamp that up. There you go. Okay, so the last thing, this would go on a card base, of course. And I've got all this water spritzed all over the place. There we go. So the last thing is to add the flowers and the leaves that give it the dimension. So like I said, I had these pieces done up already. And so I can add like this one right here and put a little stem, and then even something like that, and then I'll pop up another one. I'll pop that one up. So this one will go down kind of flat. So let's get the stem on there. There we go. All right, so as we're finishing this up, guys, if you are new to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. If you want to find out about all of my live streams, I haven't put it out yet, so click on the subscribe to my newsletter button down in the description and subscribe today, and you will get that newsletter. I'm hoping to put it out tonight, so you'll get a listing of all of my live presentations for the month. And yeah, because I'll be back here on the 7th, and of course Thursday is our normal night for Running with Scissors. That is a really fun group. We're starting a new stamp set this month, or for September I should say. All right, and it's not all Altenew. All right, so I got that down. Let me grab some those, and then I'm going to pop, let's put this guy together. There we go. So that one I will pop up with some little foam adhesives. I always like to put, if I have things glued together, I always like to put one of them right over the spot that was just glued, so they stick really well. All right. So that's going to pop up like that. And actually what I'm going to do is glue down the bottom. So let me put this down and then I'll glue it. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the blog hop that's going on with this today. We've got a few Altenew designers that are showing you all the different possibilities with this stamp set, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this today. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. You can leave a comment below in the regular comments section and let all of your friends know that all of this crafty goodness is going on over here. All right, so I just need to do a little snip. So trim those guys off, and then I've got this little bit of a leaf hanging off. There we go. And there we go. That's how I put this fabulous card together. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you do have any questions about the Build a Flower set for this month, you can go ahead and leave a question down below, and I'd be happy to answer it for you. And other than that, I will see you again later this week for another release, and of course for Running with Scissors on Thursday. So I'm glad you guys stopped by today, and I hope you have a crafty day the rest of today. Thanks. Bye.